Hey everyone, welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to be showing you all my everyday makeup routine / doing a makeup tutorial. I have been getting this comment literally everywhere, all over all of my socials, asking what products I use on an everyday basis, what my everyday makeup routine is, and just asking for a tutorial in general. So I thought I'd do that today. I'll be honest, my makeup routine changes all of the time, but if I were to sit down and do my makeup, these are the products that I would reach for. Again, it depends on the situation, where I'm going, what I'm doing, to what I use. So to start off with primer, for example, if I'm going out and having like a full day out, I want my makeup to last, I'll either use the e.l.f. Power Grip Primer or I use the NYX Face Glow. These are my two favourite grippy primers for making my makeup last all day long. But if it's not for an all day look, I generally prefer a hydrating primer. I love the way that it sits on my skin and doesn't make my makeup look all patchy. So if it's not like all day long, like just for an hour or going out for a meal or just for some filming, I would use a hydrating primer. This one is the Hydro Bubble from Revolution. I do like their primers, but it gives a nice natural glow and hydrates the skin before putting your makeup on. When it comes to my foundation, I've always loved full coverage, so one of my favourites is the IRL by Revolution. But at the moment I've been going for more of a skin tint, and this is the one that I've been using literally every day in every video. If I'm just going out for a meal, this is what I'm always using right now, and it is the NYX Buttermilk Glazed Skin Tint. So this has SPF 30 in it. It's got like something stupid like 93% ingredients that are skincare based, which is nuts. And it just leaves your skin looking really, really nice. Got a healthy glow. I really like it. I like the coverage. It's not too intense. It's like your skin but better with a bit of coverage. It is quite buildable as well, which I like. This I've got in the shade 03, which I believe is cashew butter. Yeah, cashew butter. I do like the entire collection from NYX, to be honest, the buttermilk one, which is really nice. I think you're going to be careful with the blushes and bronzers, because the day after I bought my first buttermilk blush, it smashed all over the floor. So you do have to be careful because they are kind of delicate, but they're a beautiful product. You can see how that's sitting on my skin now. Looks very glowy. We'll powder it down, but it's got a really nice healthy skin look, but it still looks like skin. I like to go in with all my cream products and my powders. I used to conceal first, but I just don't do that anymore. I prefer to go in with my bronzer next, and at the moment I've been using the Rare Beauty. I think it's actually a liquid contour, but for me this shade is like a contour and bronzer in one. It's got that warmth, but it also really helps to sculpt. This one is it Mellow? Yeah, this is in the shade Mellow, and I really, really like it. I think it just complements my skin really, really well, and it's super easy to blend, like especially for beginners. If you're beginning at makeup and you want a nice easy product to use, I definitely recommend this. Also, all the products that are being mentioned will be in the description box, so you know where you can get your hands on them, and so you know what the product actually is and you can check it out. But this just works so nicely into the skin, and it makes a huge difference. It makes it look really lifted, really sculpted. Absolutely love it. Then I move on to my cream blush. As I said, all cream products first before I move on to powders, which is somewhere I definitely used to go wrong, especially with my under eyes. And I'm loving the Morphe liquid blush at the moment. A more affordable version would be the e.l.f., but this is an absolute staple in my routine. It's so light and compact for carrying around, but the formula is just beautiful. I do love the bronzing drops as well, but I feel like I reach for the blush more than I do the bronze. I don't really know why. And it just sits so beautifully on the skin. So I'm just going to start to tap this in. This is a Morphe brush. It is the 242 brush. I recently got their entire brush collection from the new range, and wow, they are stunning. I love this because it's like one of them little kitten paw brushes, but it's really, really dense and compact. So it really pushes that makeup into the skin, but it's really gentle at the same time. I love it. So this is how it is looking. Absolutely gorgeous. It goes really, really well with that blush, with that bronze, sorry. Tiny bit on my nose, just look a little bit more sun-kissed. We're getting into that summertime. Why can I not speak at the moment? So that's what I do with that, and then I move on to my concealer, which I'm not gonna lie, I've just realised I haven't picked a concealer out. I put everything in this little basket to try to be a little bit more organised. I've just realised I haven't picked a concealer out for this video. I'd say these are the two concealers I'm reaching for at the most at the moment, and they look really different in shade, I'm not gonna lie. I thought this is gonna be a better shade, but this is probably I probably prefer this concealer at the moment. This one is the Maybelline Instant Anti-Age Eraser Multi-Use Concealer. What a mouthful. But yeah, I absolutely love this. I love the applicator. Love the way that it sits under my eyes. Just a really nice product. I actually tried the Morphe, the new Morphe concealer the other day, and that's really, really nice. That's also a really nice product. At first, I wasn't sure if I was going to like it, just because the rest of my makeup was really, really oily, and when I put it on, it just didn't sit right out, it didn't look right. But as soon as I powdered everything, it looked absolutely stunning. So I need to blend this in now. I'm just going to use another Morphe brush. I actually really like this set. Really nice and dense is this brush. To blend that out there. When it comes to placement for all my cream products, I definitely prefer to do my bronzer first. I do a little bit on the forehead, maybe some down the nose, depending on how I'm feeling, what kind of look I'm going for. And then on my cheekbone, I like to place it just under my cheekbone, around this spot here, and a little line going upwards. Blend it up, and then I place my cream blush slightly above that. I prefer to do it that way because I feel like then I get a bit more of a guide of where I want my blush to be. I don't like my blush to go too close to my nose, like the centre of my face. I prefer it out, so we can make it look a little bit more lifted. If I just can't speak today. Let's make it a little bit more lifted there, and then blend that up, blend that out, and then go in with my concealer. Because sometimes before I felt like I was doing my concealer first, and then do my blush and everything else, and it was just kind of like going on top of my concealer and just hiding that. After I conceal, I then set, so I use my setting powders. I love the Jordana T-shirt one, but I also love the What's Up Beauty one. This one's good because it's got two in one. It's got a pressed powder there, which you can see how much I love that. And it's got a loose powder on the bottom. That's what I'm going to use today. Sometimes I even use both, but sometimes with my under eyes creasing so easily, it can just be too much product. But it makes a huge, huge difference in my under eyes. I use the shade Half Baked, and I just think it makes a massive, massive difference. Like, it smooths everything, it blurs everything, it adds that extra bit of coverage. Just trying to balance that on my leg without it going absolutely everywhere. So I apply a little bit here under where we've applied the bronzer, and a little bit around my nose, just because I get quite oily and the makeup can kind of separate around that area. And I apply a generous amount underneath my eyes. One tip that I'd have, you can see the back of my hand there, I literally tap the excess off on there just to smooth it into the powder puff, make sure it's evenly distributed around my face, nice and smooth. Otherwise you can just get like chunks of product that don't sit nicely, it can crease easier, cake, things like that. So apply a little bit on my forehead just in the centre, and then we're going to do the same thing on the other side of my face. So I've got that onto the eye, just getting the excess off my hand there. I only apply a little bit down here, just a little bit, just to kind of define underneath that concealer, and then just around my mouth. And this is how it looks. I feel like the setting powder really, really brings my makeup look together. Sometimes I stop here with the base products because it is a really nice base, but sometimes I like to layer some powder products on top. So sometimes I do use a powder bronzer. I'm not gonna today, but sometimes I do. But today I'm gonna use a powder blush. I'm just gonna take this brush from Morphe here, which is the M202 brush. This is from MUA's, this blush, and it's so pretty. So I like to do that so it's evenly distributed on the brush. You're not going to have like random chunks of blush just like sitting on your face, ready to create a disaster. And then just really, really gently swiping that across, making sure it's nice and blended. Just adds a little bit of extra definition to your face, like with and without. I really like to do it that way, but some people don't, that's fine. I feel like there's no rules when it comes to makeup at all. Like, a lot of people are like, you did that wrong, and like will give me hate for doing it a certain way, and it's just, there are no rules. You just do what you like and experiment. I love experimenting. A lot of people message me being like, look better without makeup. It's like, firstly, it's kind of offensive when you've just spent, you know, an hour doing your makeup, then saying you look better without it. Secondly, I don't do it to look good. I do it because it's something that I enjoy doing. I enjoy being creative, trying new methods, products, all sorts of things. And then I curl my lashes. So get to the root of my lashes and then just kind of pump the eyelash curler. I don't really know how else to explain that. For skin prep before makeup, I think it is important to prep your skin, but I prefer to do it like a little bit before. Like I won't do like a full-blown skincare routine right before I put makeup on. A lot of people will be so against that. A lot of people say you need to put loads and loads of skincare on before. And I do agree to a point. Like I think you can over skincare. I think there's such thing as putting too much skincare on before makeup. I like a bit of moisturiser, especially under my eyes, and I like a good SPF if my products don't have it in them anyway. But I think my primer does a lot of the work as well, because sometimes if you put too much skincare on, your makeup can like peel and like roll up while you're putting it on, so you've got to be careful with that balance. This is how it's looking. Now going with my mascara. Absolute staple is the Maybelline. My two current faves are the Maybelline Sky High and the Beauty Bay. The wand on them I think is really what does it for me. I love more of a lengthening wand rather than a volumizing. Volumizing wands just don't do it for me, to be honest. I feel like that's how you end up with mascara all over your face. The clumpiness that you can get, like, don't get me wrong, some volumizing ones are nice. I like the Revolution, which one is it? I'll have to write it on screen because I can't remember the name, but a Revolution one that has a volumizing wand is absolutely beautiful, and I didn't think I was going to like it at all. I didn't want to buy it, and I thought, do you know what, I'll buy it, so at least it looks like I'm being really honest, because I won't like it. And then I really like the wand. I really didn't expect to like it. So I think it just depends on the specific like individual mascaras, but for me in general, lengthening ones like those thin ones are a lot better than the really chunky wild ones. So yes, that is the mascara that I use, the Sky High. Then onto my lips. I personally am currently obsessed with the Rimmel lip liners. I tried them thinking, yeah, it'll be alright, you know, it's just a lip liner, a lip liner's a lip liner, and fell in love. It is the creamiest formula, and it is the only lip liner I've tried so far that literally stays all day. It doesn't go. Like, you can have like 2 meals, drink as much as you want, and the lip liner still stays. It'll still be there when you go to bed and you go like rub it off. It is incredible. I'm using the shade Tiramisu. This and Cappuccino I think are my faves. Although I cannot do this and talk. Really nice shade. I think I do prefer, see that's because I talked, I just messed up there. I do prefer Cappuccino to Tiramisu I think, but this is one I had on hand. When it comes to lip liner, different things work for different people. I personally prefer to very slightly overline, but not too much to the point where it looks really obvious. That's what I've done. And then I'll pick a lipstick that matches. I think I'm going to go in with my Kylie today. I love this. Again, it's not the most affordable thing on the planet, but I always buy them in sales. I don't usually pay full price just because, you know, I buy a lot of makeup, so you're going to try and get them in the sales when you can. This one is in the shade Kylie as well. This one of her liquid lipsticks. I think I bought this at an airport. It was like 30% off sale, so I bought it. Plus, obviously, duty free. That was a bargain. And just nice and gently line my lips out. I know it looks a little bit strange and crazy, but I'll blend it out. That's how it looks. I really like that. Sometimes I put a gloss on, sometimes I won't. I'm not always a glossy girl when it comes to lips. Like, I do love a lip that's nice and glossy, but sometimes matte works for me. It depends on the look. And it depends if I want to go for highlight or not. A really good highlight I'm currently obsessed with that's kind of brought me back into my highlight era. I used to never ever do my makeup without using highlight, like it was a staple. Now I don't use it as much, but I think this summer I'm definitely going to be back into it. Do you know what, let's put it on. I think this summer may bring me back to the highlights because of this product. So this is the NYX Buttermelt Highlighter. This is super pigmented, so you don't need a lot. I've got mine in the shade 01. Tap all that excess off. It is so pretty. Like, it genuinely, I think this will bring me back to being obsessed with highlights. It's a beautiful product. Like, literally the tiniest bit is all you need. Just really gently kind of like tickle that onto the skin. This is the brush that I use. I personally prefer like a slightly tapered, fluffy, quite small brush. Like, it doesn't need to be massive. And look at the way it sits on the skin. It really catches the light. So this brush is the M164 powder brush. Again, from Morphe. That's how that's looking. Then my very final step, like I do like to do eyeshadow, but I'm not going to go into that in the video, otherwise this will be like 10 hours long. My final step is my ultimate favourite step, which is setting spray. This is my favourite. I've talked about it 1,000 times, I'll talk about it 1,000 times more. I like the Urban Decay, that's another one I love, but this is like my holy grail when it comes to makeup. This is the best setting spray on the market. Personally, my personal preference. I feel like no one talks about this, but I love it. It really, really does make your makeup last all day long. And it's got the finest mist. I hate a setting spray that's like chunky. It doesn't sit nice on the skin. It doesn't actually make your makeup last. There's actually a continuous setting spray, which I don't think I've seen any other brands do this. Probably there are some, but I haven't seen them. So you literally press the button down and it will last as long as there's setting spray in the bottle. Like, it will literally continue going, which I really like as well, because you're not having to like keep pumping it. Because like when you, I talked about this in a video recently, when you like pump a setting spray, like the start and the end of like the burst, like the spray, I don't know how to describe it, can be like bitty, like big chunks can come out. No matter how like fine the mist is, it still happens. But with this, it is so even and just so beautiful, and it feels really refreshing, and I just love it. I think it's an absolutely beautiful, beautiful product. And look at the highlight as well. I feel like setting spray really makes a highlight kind of like come to life. I love it. Anyway, that is my full face. That is my everyday makeup routine. They're the products I'd use, that's how I'd use them. If you've got any other questions, please let me know in the comments. Any other video requests, I'm more than happy to make them if I can. But that is it, that's my full makeup routine. Thank you so much for watching, and hopefully I'll see you all soon. Bye!